If you recently watched the video from creators like Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Chael Sonnen, or thequartering, you probably saw them promote a company called Kamikoto.
Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Kamikoto.
Kamikoto advertises itself as a maker of high-quality Japanese steel knives that are made in Japan. But are these claims actually true? Let's find out. Before I dive into Kamikoto's marketing claims, here's a mashup of some of the biggest creators on YouTube promoting the brand.
Using techniques that have been honed and perfected by generations of bladesmiths, Kamikoto knives are crafted only of high-quality Japanese steel.
Each Kamikoto knife goes through a rigorous 19-step process that takes several years from start to finish.
Kamikoto builds on over 800 years of Japanese knowledge, technology, and expertise. Their knives have been meticulously handcrafted using traditional techniques that date back to the Edo period of Japan.
The knives come in a beautiful, heavy-duty ash wood box, makes it a really great gift.
Each knife is individually inspected, and Kamikoto is so confident about their knives that each one comes with a lifetime guarantee. These knives are incredible, and you don't have to take my word for it. They have been used by Michelin star chefs all over the world, and if you don't love them, you will get a full refund.
It's obvious these YouTubers were reading off a script given to them by Kamikoto. But what's not so obvious are the false and deceptive marketing statements made by the company. So let's break down the company and analyze their claims. The two main claims Kamikoto makes are that their knives are made in Japan and are made using Honshu steel, which is a purposefully vague term. Honshu refers to the main island in Japan. Many types of steel are made there. This is one of their clever marketing tricks. Kamikoto wants you to believe that their kitchen knives are made using the finest Japanese steel. Here's what you need to know. Modern steel is made to industry standards and is given a code, like 1095 or ATS 34, and it must be made to that industry quality standard. Which means you can reliably say, if it has this grade of steel, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It can come from China, Brazil, or South Africa. If it has a certain code, there's an industry standard that must be met. So where the steel comes from doesn't actually matter. But Kamikoto tricks people into believing that their knife is special because they use traditional techniques from Japan. But it gets even worse. Even though Kamikoto implies in their marketing that their knives are made in Japan, through my research, I found out that most of their knives are actually made in China. According to their own website, their Ganzhou series knives are the only knives that are actually made in Japan. Now, there's nothing wrong with Chinese knives. The problem here is when Kamikoto uses deceptive marketing and clever wordplay to trick people into thinking they're buying high-end Japanese kitchen knives. A legitimate knife company with high-quality steel will want to make sure that people know what steel their knives are made out of. They wouldn't try to hide it. Kamikoto also states that their knives go through a 19-step process and each knife is individually inspected by a master knifesmith before leaving their workshop. Here's the thing. Other knife companies go through their own process as well, so Kamikoto's process isn't exactly special. They also state that their knives have been used by Michelin star chefs all over the world. Notice how Kamikoto doesn't specify how Michelin star chefs are using their knives, but simply that they use them. Look, in restaurants, chefs use different knives for different tasks, so it's likely that the Michelin star chefs are using Kamikoto's knives because it's a cheap option for a low-tier task. Not necessarily because it's one of the best knife brands. If you dig through Kamikoto's website, you'll find out that they use two types of steel, 420J2 for their Gen 10 series and SLD steel for their Ganzhou series. 420J2 is the steel that most of their knives are made out of. Now, you might be wondering, what's wrong if they use 420J2 steel? For those of you who are unfamiliar, 420J2 is a low-end stainless steel for those looking for a cheap and affordable knife. It's a soft steel, which makes it less prone to chipping, but that also means it loses a sharp edge quickly, which is why the company recommends purchasing a sharpening whetstone, which by the way, costs an additional $235. And if you look on their website, they offer big discounts on their knives. Some brands use this sales gimmick to play on the psychology of their customers' weakness for offers and fear of missing out. You will never see a high-end brand sell their knife at such a huge discount. In fact, popular high-end knife makers can charge over $1,000 for their knives, while Kamikoto charges $341. which is still on the expensive side for a non-high-end kitchen knife. The other claim Kamikoto makes is that they're a Japanese company. If you go on Kamikoto's website, they claim to be headquartered in Tokyo, Japan. In fact, if you explore their About Us page, the word Japan appeared 21 times, while the word China appeared only once. You see, this is a very clever trick by Kamikoto to hide the fact that their parent company, Galton Voice, is a Hong Kong-based business. Galton Voice also owns Established Titles, another scam company. So the answer is no. Kamikoto is neither Japanese owned nor operated. The reason why Kamikoto advertises itself as a high-end Japanese knife company is because they think Americans are gullible. They know that Americans will automatically associate any product made in China as low quality and cheap. So instead of actually making a high-end kitchen knife and advertising it properly, they would rather make a cheap knife with a high price tag and falsely advertise it as high-end. As a matter of fact, DealDash, an auction website founded by William Wolfram, who by the way also founded Galton Voice, was sued for misleadingly marketing certain products as expensive luxury brand name products when they were actually cheap generic brands that were not worth the advertised value. The link to the lawsuit is in the description. Also, if you look at the reviews on Kamikoto's website, they have a 4.9 star rating with almost 1,400 reviews. Anyone who's read reviews on the internet will know that it's extremely difficult for a product to have a rating that high, especially with that amount of reviews, which means a lot of those reviews are most likely fake. Which brings me back to the YouTubers who are promoting Kamikoto. These creators, who by the way aren't knife experts, were talking about how well the knife cuts. That's one of the most common misconceptions people have when it comes to kitchen knives.
It's definitely sharp.
Like I thought it wasn't gonna go through, but it just kind of like went through like effortlessly.
Look how thin that is.
I didn't put any pressure on that at all, it fell through it.
It's so sharp, it just goes right through the grapefruit.
People assume that how well a knife performs in a single cut is a reflection of the overall quality of the knife. That's not true. So don't be fooled by these knife cutting demonstrations that these YouTube creators are showing you. They obviously didn't spend much time doing any research on Kamikoto. The information was out there in the open if they just looked for it. But here's the thing. Not only are these creators lazy when it comes to doing research, I don't think these creators view blindly taking a sponsorship deal without any research as problematic. I'm not sure if it even crosses their minds to vet their sponsors before promoting them. It's really disappointing watching these creators deceive their audience. At this point, it's become an epidemic. It seems like every other week some big name YouTuber or influencer is promoting a scam company or a shady crypto project or a crypto platform on the verge of bankruptcy. We can't allow these creators to hide behind their same old tired excuses. This isn't just a question of holding these creators accountable. We need to demand that they do better. I'm tired of the apology tours these creators go on when they get called out for promoting something sketchy to their audience. But until these creators stop promoting these scam companies, their subscribers will continue to be victims of their negligence. And if these creators keep promoting scam companies, they will continue to get called out until they get the message. Stay safe out there.
See how they gleam? Do you see the edge? Look at it.